Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to Football Inc., the famous home of the 1 hour and 10-minute chit-chat of what has happened in the last 24 hours of football. I'm here, of course, with Jonny, my boy Jonny, and we got some things to ask of you before we get into the show, guys. We're hoping you're all happy and healthy, doing the things that you love with those you love to do them with. Please do smash the like button, like your life depends on it, and our show depends on it, because it really does. It does. The like button is so important. It's free to do. Just drum the thumb. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. We're on the march to 4K. Insane levels. And we really appreciate all the support, all the kind messages that are coming through from all over the world saying how much they enjoy what we do here. And that's what we do here. We try to entertain and educate and have some engagement as well. And you can engage with us by letting us know where you're from and who you support if you haven't told us before. We love to see you guys. Please also note, if you are interested in the audio versions, podcast format, these things are uploaded. These videos are uploaded onto those things straight after the show. So if you can't catch us live, then when you're out with the dog or wherever you're doing, you can find it on audio, on Spotify and Apple and all that jazz. Jonny, how you doing, mate? How are you?
All right. You're probably wondering why I'm in camouflage today. I'm just back from Nottingham, Sean. I've been hiding in the bushes, trying to find out what's going on with Morgan Gibbs-White. Yeah.
Nice.
He turned up in blue and white today. I couldn't turn up in blue and white. Obviously, I had to blend in. But
so he's been at the training ground. He's been training again with Forest, hasn't he?
In Forest. But he came in club colours, blue and white, supreme blue and white today. So he's keeping it on point.
Deliberate? Do you think that's a deliberate thing?
I think it's, I think it's the deliberate thing. He could have worn red today, Sean.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you're a young, good-looking, healthy, and wealthy man, you probably have an eclectic wardrobe. Me, all I've got is about 15 black shirts, a couple of orange ones. So I can't really do anything that's clever like that, where I'm trying to infer certain messages that I want to be a certain place with a person or two that does a thing or two about football. Jonny, so what happened up in Nottingham, mate? Did you get any inside goss?
No, look, as far as I know, Marinakis is probably trying to eat the contract as we speak to block it. Look, there's nothing that they can do. As far as I know from speaking to people that I know, if it's any comeback to anybody, it would be a comeback onto Stella, who are the agents. I could just. Spurs have done nothing wrong. I can't see what they've done wrong. Listen, this is a club that blames Spurs for paying £12 million more than Brentford offered for Brendan Johnson, and said it's because of us that they broke FFP. We paid you £12 million more than anyone else. What's the matter with you guys? Come on. We bought Jed Spence off you. They're our feeder club. Listen, Nottingham Forest, they're our feeder club. Get over it, okay?
They are. I'd rather feeder clubs to have, especially when you have a giant haystacks as the guy who's feeding you. He takes a little bit for himself and gives a little bit across.
Yeah, listen, we've had Jed Spence off of them. We've had Brendan Johnson, and now we're going to get Morgan Gibbs-White. I don't think there's any doubt whatsoever that he's going to come. It might take a few days, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I'd love to see Marinakis on a stage with Donald Trump. Can you imagine if it was Nottingham Forest in the fight?
That'd have to be a fairly big stage, wouldn't it? Jesus Christ. Yeah. Very well reinforced.
With a support network underneath.
Listen, like those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. No. So I'm not going to go after him for his weight too much. But what I will say, mate, is that I saw a short earlier talk about chairman. We spoke a lot about John Textor.
Yeah.
The story I heard, and again, I don't know if this is true, but I saw it on a podcast, so you'd hope that they've done some due diligence here. Did you know that John Textor took $91 million out of Lyon's accounts so that Botafogo could buy some players so that they could win the Copa Libertadores?
I heard another one.
The Copa Libertadores? I think it's Copa Libertadores.
I heard another one that he forgot to pay a £2,000 transfer fee, which cost them a massive fine to fall foul of the thing. And he also forgot to renew the sponsorship deal. So it's now coming to light that actually John Textor is a bit of a dick. Right?
Bit of a donut, mate.
People
There's
are
donuts everywhere, mate. There's donuts everywhere in ownership, aren't there? You know, and this is one of the things I was having another ding dong with old Lubo, friend of the show, friend of soon to be partner on the Spurs 5 last night. You know, I listen, love him to pieces, but there's a lot you could get a lot worse chairman than our sprightly man. I think is he might not be perfect. He's far from perfect, but he's not the pariah that. When you look around the market, you see others that are out there that just make. Although, having said that, we had our own donut version, didn't we, with the Cardoso deal? We screwed up there.
We did, and we also had our defender, who they forgot we'd already loaned out too many players, and we had to give them away for free. Look, all clubs make mistakes, but he's made some serious mistakes that have cost Crystal Palace. I mean, they didn't even have the right email address. They're sending them notification that the rules have changed, Sean, about the date where you have to get off the register, and they were sending it to the wrong address. I think there is a chance that Crystal Palace could get away with it. But let me say this. I think Crystal Palace are making a huge mistake, and I'll tell you why. Because I believe that Crystal Palace can win the Conference League. And guess what? If you win the Conference League, the next season you go into the Europa League. They could have 2 seasons in Europe as opposed to one in the Europa League where they might not win it. Just a thought.
Look, I wouldn't. What I would say that there's a few teams out there that are doing bits that are qualifying. We're going to talk about them throughout the show. Yeah. In fact, we're going to have to go across to Turkey and Saudi for our segments pretty soon. But I would say that if Crystal Palace probably are favourites for the Conference League, even though it's their first little run at Europe. If they take it seriously, there's no reason why they can't get to the late stage of that competition. There's not that same money, right? And so I guess like, I don't hate what you're saying, by the way, and I think it's still an injustice on them. 100%.
It is an injustice. Is it unlucky, or is it unlucky, or is it an injustice, or is it unlucky? I'm not quite sure.
I'm not sure. I mean, it seems it's like sloppy in terms of the rules not being adhered to, but then at the same time, if you listen to John Textor saying that the email that the update was sent to, like you're the owner of a football club, you should have people, if not you, someone that should be all over the UEFA litigations and the rule changes. Like to say that it went to a basically hibernating email address is a little bit of a sloppy excuse. But look, John Textor doesn't care anymore. He's out there, doesn't he? He doesn't care. And the amount of times you look into that relationship between Botafogo and Lyon, like I said, 91 million quid taken out of Lyon that was then sent across to Botafogo. Like, how is that in any way okay to be robbing Peter to pay Paul? Like, should the Lyon fans be like given half of the award money for or half the trophy? You did this. This is for you, Lyon. You know, they don't give a shit about Botafogo.
They take it back. But Sean, you've got to remember that when they sold to Nottingham Forest, another one in this circle, this triangle that keeps going on, when they sold Igor Jesus and Cunha from Botafogo to Nottingham Forest, he sent that money from Botafogo to Lyon so that Lyon could pay the money to get over their fine, to get reinstated with the money that PSG gave them so they could be in the league to knock out Crystal Palace, the shares that he sold to someone else, to Woody Johnson. The whole thing's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's absolutely madness. And I swear to God, there's more to it than that. I saw some other clips on TikTok. Again, haven't verified the truth of the stories, but there's like a rabbit hole conspiracy theory regarding Textor and Marinakis, of which, Johnny, like you and I love a conspiracy. We like to invoke some sort of, there's always something going on that's beneath the surface. The person that put that one out there, I can't remember, I won't bring up all the details, but if that one's true, or even 3/4 true, it goes deeper than in the conspiracy trenches than you and I have ever gone. The rabbit hole goes deep with football ownership, mate. And We got to start. Listen, I know we want to start with Ekatike. Before we do, actually, let me just get a super chat away. Blaine's in the house. Good to see you, Blaine. Says, Johnny, you can't say about hiding in the bushes when you're looking for dancing girls. No, it's me that's looking for the dancing girls. Johnny's out on secondment up in Nottingham Forest trying to find out what's going on. Don't worry about that. Let's not get the wires crossed, Blaine. I'm looking for the dancing girls. Johnny's looking for Morgan Gibbs, right? Oh, you're on mute, Johnny. You can put yourself on mute, I think.
It won't be long. It won't be long. He'll be here. He'll be here. Oh, ye of little faith. Oh, ye of little faith.
Of course he'll be here. No doubt about it. And it depends where Tottenham go next, doesn't it?
Yeah, Forest will be looking for his replacement, and they'll get an able replacement because their recruitment is very, very good. And he just needs to calm down now. Listen, he's just got, was it £115 million for Alanga and Morgan Gibbs-White? Yeah,
okay.
My heart stopped bleeding for you. You just bought two guys from Botafogo for 30 million, which is an absolute steal. Edu's done a great job. Are we live, my dudes? We are Kicks TV. We are live, coming to you live to a living room near you.
You know what, Johnny? There's this thing here from Sean Ford. Big up to you, Sean. Don't forget Michael Dawson. We also got Michael Dawson from Forest as well, didn't we?
Oh, correct.
Back in the day. So another one. Forest are the feeder club. We love that. Love that. I'm going to go after Wolfie with that one very soon.
Long way to continue.
Yeah, let's start across quickly, mate, to the first segment of the show. We have to go and do a little bit over here. I want to get it out of the way because it's quite an interesting story. So we're off to Turkey.
This is the Turkey segment. The Turkey segment of the show.
Victor Osimhen has refused to. We say we're going to Turkey, but it's actually because the deal's not done, and Osimhen is doing the Gyokeres, mate. It seems like there's these trends that are emerging. Like we've got the cop block train trend. We have the and now we have the refusing to train, refusing to join pre-season training. Lots and lots of these stories are emerging with players that are demanding moves. Player power has gone out the window. Respect to the people that pay your wages until they stop paying your wages has gone out the window. I mean, look, I understand with Osimhen, there's history and stuff with everything that happened. So totally get it. It's a little bit unique. But at the same time, you should be protected within your training grounds, your campus. Morgan Gibbs-White is back at training today. Osimhen should be as well, right? Until that deal is complete.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, respect the club. I sort of understand where Osimhen's coming from. Osimhen's situation is a little bit different, right? He was complaining about racism from fans and finding it very difficult, only to suffer from a racist post from his own club. Correct, Sean? Remember the post?
Yeah. The coconut.
The coconut, yeah. Absolutely outrageous. And he wanted to leave. Napoli need the money, as we've said on here, not to keep repeating themselves, but they'd like Darwin Núñez. They'd like Garnacho. They need the money. They're going to hold Manchester United ransom for Garnacho, but in the meantime, they want to do Darwin Núñez, and Liverpool can't buy the strikers they want because of it. Could you see potentially Liverpool coming in for Victor Osimhen?
I could certainly see a club in the Premier League. I wouldn't necessarily say Liverpool. I personally just think of Osimhen as a certain style of player, a certain type of player, a character, a personality. And I can only really picture him at probably two clubs. And that is Manchester United and Chelsea. Personally, I don't really see Liverpool looking in that direction. But in terms of, is he good enough to play for Liverpool? Yes. In terms of, do Liverpool need a player? Yes. We've got a story about a player, the striker that's already been offered to Liverpool today by the agent. We'll come to that in a little while. But for me, Johnny, yeah, look, like I think that there's no reason to think he wouldn't do really well in the Premier League. I think he's fast, he's powerful, he's mature, he's just a game changer. He's electric. He's exciting. I'd love to see him in the Premier League. I'd be really scared to see him. He tore us up in the Europa League, didn't he? Him and the players around him.
He's an absolute beast in the air. As we said before, I think he's 63% win percentage in aerial duels, which is quite incredible. Yeah, I mean, he's an absolute beast. Evening, Gary, in the chat. You know, you are. Fletch, thank you for becoming a new member.
Yeah, appreciate you, Fletch. Very cool, mate. Very cool. We got so much planned for this channel. We've got more segments than, or more sections, I should say, than a mental institute. And we got lots of plans coming. Like, here's an idea for you. Let me know if you like this idea. Right, in the next couple of weeks, Jonny and I are going to start doing a Wheel of Fortune sort of idea where we're going to spin the wheel, and on the wheel is going to be all of the teams of a certain league. So it might be the French league, it might be the Italian league, it might be the Turkish league or the Saudi league, whatever. And you let us know which leagues we should do. And then Jonny gets to inherit a team from that particular league for the season. And I have to do the same. And we have to go out there on DH Gate and go and get some sort of merchandise that represents our love, our new formed love for these clubs. And in so doing, it will make us pay more attention to what's happening in those leagues, hopefully become more well-rounded with our knowledge. And every week we do a little segment where Jonny gets to update us on what's happening in Osasuna or in Al Hilal or in in Genoa or something. That's that'll be a cool little segment for the show. Thank you very much, Fletch. Appreciate the membership, mate. Thank you very much.
Drew Zilla, more segments. This show's got more segments than a Terry's Orange. We were actually having a pothole section. Players to avoid. Clubs to avoid.
I'll definitely be able to get a video and a jingle for that one done. Yeah, pothole. He's a pothole.
Players to avoid. We're going to have a clown of the week or dickhead of the week. One of the two. We've got lots of sections for once the season started. But yeah, we're going to spin.
I think we already know this particular clown show of the week, don't we? Where we're going with it.
The clown show of the week.
Only one name, Marinakis, right? He's got to be the clown show of the week.
Clown show of the week is Marinakis. Yeah, I wonder whether he'll hold on to the title for the remainder of the week. But he is the clown of the week. I think we can all agree. Whoever you support, he's making an absolute fool of himself. But we shall see where we go from here. Right, where should we go now, Shawnee?
Well, we got to go to, I think we should stop off at Newcastle United. By the way, guys, the Super Sticker train is yet to leave the junction. If you do want to jump on board, let us know. Send in a little Super Sticker train. We'd love to see you. We'll choo our way over to pick you up. We appreciate that every time. It really does helps the channel be able to throw some more segments in, those sorts of things. So I really appreciate any of those sorts of Super Sticker bad boys that you guys love to throw. And let's go to Newcastle, though. Hugo Ekitike, right? The deal is apparently on top. Everton, Newcastle have allegedly officially bid 17 million euros or more than 70 million euros for Hugo Ekitike, mate. Your favourite player in terms of pronunciation struggles. And mate, quality player. Be honest, I was really looking forward to seeing how good he was when Tottenham played Frankfurt, but Romero marked him out of the game like an absolute beast. Once their number 10 went off injured, it became a one-man show for them, but Romero kept him quiet, kept him in his pocket. Obviously, he likes to attack off the left-hand side, so in that regard, if he's going to Newcastle, is that just adding more depth to the squad, or do you see someone like Anthony Gordon maybe leaving, or is he coming into play as a 9 and compete with Isak? What does that mean for Isak's future? Let us know your thoughts, mate. What are you thinking?
Right. So I look at this completely different. Look, I love Ekitike. I loved them as a pair with him and Mamouche. Obviously, when Mamouche left and went to Manchester City, losing a player of that ilk really affected him, because Mamouche was really, with these fantastic runs, he was creating space, which Ekitike exploited. I think we're looking at this the wrong way. Right now, Newcastle, if you stripped away everything else, are the richest club on the planet. Okay? Fact. So that means, are the gloves finally off? They've been very reserved. They've been very measured.
Yeah.
They can see Spurs spending money. They can see Chelsea. They can see all these clubs spending money. They've got building.
With little to no consequence for the Blues.
Correct. Yeah. They're doing building work themselves, so they probably have seen an angle where they can sell an item of a building to themselves to circumvent the rules, just like everyone else has done. And now I think the gloves are off. If you can imagine Ekitike, Elanga, Isak, Gordon, that is a frightening pace up front. I don't see this as, I might be wrong, but I don't see this as Alexander Isak leaving. I see this as competition and a club that's looking to make a serious statement. And let's be honest, they're in the Champions League. And, Alexander Isak is not going to play every game. He gets a few niggles and a few injuries and he's out. And their game drops off. And to have two players of this level competing. Now, the thing is, I think this will trigger Liverpool. I really do, because I'm sure that deep down, Liverpool are interested in Ekitike themselves.
Yeah.
But getting rid of Darwin Núñez is the issue. But look, there's no doubt about it. You and I are big fans of his. And he's still young, got a lot of improvement to make. If I had to decide between Ekitike and Benjamin Sesko, I would definitely go for Ekitike, personally.
Yeah, do you know what, mate? I don't know if I agree. I don't mind. I think both players are sensational. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. Sesko, Ekitike, they're very similar in terms of like their potential, their current quality, their current output, their excitement, what they can do with the ball at their feet, how clever they are. Sesko for me probably has better output, better finishing at the moment, but they've both got so much time on their sides.
Correct.
I think it's a feast, whichever one you get. And if Liverpool allegedly, the other story here is that Liverpool have been offered Sesko by the agent. The agent's obviously been told or has been given some instruction, some permission, you'd think, maybe not, to be able to go and figure out what's going on. And that Liverpool have got, first dibs. This is one of those things that kind of is like, it's the reality of football. We speak about it all the time, Johnny. I know Saba speaks about it a lot as well. And I think that we're all on the same page here. A lot of fans maybe don't really appreciate this as much as they should, that the reality of the situation is that if there's a top player like Sesko out there and the agent thinks that he can get his player a move, he picks up the phone to Liverpool. Like, Tottenham would never have that happening. If Tottenham were to ever go and get a Benjamin Sesko, they'd have to go begging to... I mean, look what happened with Luis Diaz, right? Like, Luis Diaz was going to come to Tottenham on the day that he was about to sign. The agent picked up the phone to Liverpool and said, look, you were planning on buying him in the summer, but Tottenham are ready to go now. He wants to come to you. That's just the kind of the pecking order politics of football, right? Like, it is what it is. Tottenham are not at the top table when it comes to the top players. What does make me interested, though, is that if Newcastle United can be offered Ekitike, then maybe Ekitike is not quite ready or is willing to sort of go to that second tier, that kind of, if we look at those blocks of four that we talk about in the Premier League, like you got the top four, which is United, Arsenal, Liverpool and Chelsea. The next four, Newcastle, Villa, Tottenham and United. Villa may be a little bit less accessible right now. Maybe Tottenham, if they are looking for someone else, if the Morgan Gibbs-White deal was to have problems, if Ekitike is willing to go to Newcastle,
But listen, Sean, look, we're talking about serious money, and Eugene says that Isak and Ekitike can't play together. Look, this notion that there's only a first 11, Eugene, is not where I'm going with this. I'm saying you cannot compete in Europe and the Premier League and make a run in the Premier League with one striker. It's as simple as that, right? You just can't.
But with Ekitike, you have someone that can play on the left and replace Gordon, or you can have someone that plays in the 9 and replaces Isak when they need to sort of switch things up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I just think, sorry, someone's trying to distract me here. If you got
Mini out,
if you got Isak and Ekitike, right, they can't play together. I think that you've got to remember this is a club absolutely deep in money. And yeah, you've got Elanga, you've got Gordon, but there's no midfield, but you've got Tonali, you've got Joel Linton, you've got Jacob Murphy. This is a deep squad. And I don't believe in a first 11. I believe in having a deep squad. And I don't see anyone at Manchester City complaining about the abundance of riches, or Liverpool having like 5 different, 6 different attacking options. And I think Newcastle are going for it. They can see Arsenal spending big, City spending big, Chelsea spending big, and they don't want to be left behind. They want to be at the party.
But you'd rather have Ekitike, would you, than Sesko if you offered the two?
No, I think it's close. I think I'd
probably go for Sesko personally. I think he's just got a little bit more about him. But listen, I'm not picky, mate. If either of those two ended up at Tottenham, I'd be absolutely over the moon. I'd much rather have one of those two than than Ovisa.
Back in the real world, he's not coming.
I know. Yeah.
He's going to a club, that's going to spend the money.
Do you think Newcastle are a bigger draw than Tottenham?
No, I just think that right now they have the money, Sean. They've been quite prudent. They've been quite controlled with how they're spending. We look at Chelsea and we go on about Chelsea and what they're doing. Yet they've sold now £100 million worth of players already, and they've got more players to sell. Listen, I'm not saying Sesko's a bad player. 100% not. Right? I know
you're not. Yeah, I know you're not.
I'm just saying I might have a slight preference for Ekitike. I mean, that's minimal. We said at the beginning of this transfer window, I've never seen so many quality strikers coming up for offer.
The demand and the supply economics of the striker market right now are very abnormal, aren't they? I mean, I don't imagine it'll be the same for long, because strikers are generally the most valuable. You can't win a game unless you. It's interesting though, because you think that goalkeepers and centre backs for that same reason would be also, but like goalkeepers don't earn the same money as other outfield players do. But if you've got a terrible goalkeeper, but you've got 10 other world-class players, you're still in a lot of trouble, right? But goalkeepers don't seem to get the same sort of value attached to them as strikers do. But a good goalkeeper's worth their weight in gold to me. But I love the fact that this market is so spicy in the striker world. And there's still other names that can move, by the way. It's not, we've spoken about Osimhen, we've spoken about obviously Sesko. We know Gyokeres has now gone to Arsenal. That longest drawn-out saga, it looks like it's finally finished and done.
Watkins.
Ollie Watkins is still to move. Dusan Vlahovic is still to move. Richarlison might maybe be on the move somewhere. There's players out in Italy that are still looking to come, like Moise Kean might be moving around somewhere. You got Mikhail Tadzi at Lyon. I don't know if he'll stay now or otherwise. He's not really a striker. He's more of a 10, but he can certainly play a little bit everywhere. There's a lot of sort of dominoes still to fall, mate, in the forward end of the game, and it's we're only a week away now from pre-season's first fixtures.
Yeah, I think clubs now will be getting a bit tetchy. First of all, it was like, let's establish market value for a striker. All right. We've seen lots of deals being done at 55, 60 million. We've seen Gyokeres going to go for sort of around about 70 million euros.
Not even that much, is it? Didn't he go for £42 million plus 10, 15 in add-ons? Like, it's really, like, in the end, they got Arsenal got him
euros. Yeah, they have. But bearing in mind, he's 27 as opposed to, 20. Look, we know right now that clubs seem to have this, they come out in a rash when they think about spending 50, 60 million pounds on a 27, 28-year-old. They want to spend it on a 22-year-old. And you can understand why, that's why probably Sesko and some of the others, Ekitike and Osimhen, are still commanding big money, because not so much Osimhen because he's older, which is probably why he's going to go to Turkey. The younger strikers are going to be more in demand. I mean, Ollie Watkins, I think, comes up 30 this year. Or soon.
But sometimes you sit there and kind of think, okay, if the market is where it is, and everyone's looking into buying younger players, but if Gyokeres, I'm actually amazed, mate. For the last week, you and I have been saying, on the basis of the fact that João Pedro's gone for 55, on the basis of Kudos at that price, I know these guys have got Prem experience and he hasn't, but on the kind of, you can't do it until you've done it. And wherever he's been, he's done it. Coventry get 10% of the sell-on, which is about £4.5 million. So actually, Sporting are only going to get guaranteed £36 million.
Or Brighton,
£38 million.
Brighton get as well. Brighton
get something as well, but Coventry definitely get 10%. I'm not sure how much Brighton get. So Sporting are getting basically shafted after all of that kind of dancing.
They're not getting shafted. They're getting a profit. And listen, look, at the end of the day, we haven't even spoken about Nkunku, which looks like, he could get moved to Bayern Munich, and we haven't spoken about Nicholas Jackson, right? And who's going to go in for him? I don't remember.
£100 million for Jackson.
I mean, they're not getting.
They'll probably get it as well. They probably get it.
They're not getting anywhere near that. We all know that. It's just some ridiculous newspaper article. Look, the fact of the matter is, Chelsea have still got a couple of strikers left to sell. João Pedro and Leon Delap are going to be the ones taking the most of the work. I can see Nkunku going out on loan due to his injury, what they paid, and sell off Nicholas Jackson. But again, another two players who are going to bring in big money. I don't remember that many strikers. Nicholas Jackson makes me laugh. 1 minute, he's through on goal and he's banging in the goals, and the next week he can't hit a barn door. He needs 20 efforts to score a goal, and some of the positions he's been put clean through, especially at the end of the season by Neto and the likes. And I can see why they're getting frustrated with him, Chelsea fans, and are over the moon now. They got João Pedro and Liam Delap.
Be honest, mate, João Pedro started his time at Chelsea on fire, hasn't he? Scored a goal in the final, scored a goal in the semi. And I think he was it in the quarters in the final or the semis in the final.
Yeah,
you couldn't have wanted wished for two. And how good was Cole Palmer, by the way, in the final against PSG? Just absolutely insane, absolutely insane.
I got to be honest with you. I don't know whether or not it looked to be that it was a game too far for them, and also Pacho. Their defender is their best defender, Pacho. He was missing. They had an extra day's recovery, and let's be honest, Chelsea played nobody really. It was a walkover. Whereas they were playing Real Madrid. Look, you can't make any excuses for it. It is what it is. And Chelsea won fair and square. They were the better team on the night. If you look at who they've beaten on the way there, it's not exactly a who's who of top players. What do you think João Pedro said to Luis Enrique to make him grab him round the throat? Seemed like a weird one, didn't it?
Yeah. You know what, mate? I think that Luis Enrique. Look, don't get me wrong. I think he's an incredible manager. But this is the beautiful thing about doing this show with you, mate, is that I feel obliged to spend so much more time looking and learning about the intricacies of things that I would never normally pay attention to. And I've read loads of articles recently. I've got an RSS feed that just throws in so much football stuff my way. And I feel like Luis Enrique's got a bit of a spice to him where he comes across as like a super tactician and stuff, but I think he's got a little bit of a nutcase, like a short temper. But obviously the end of that game was quite fiery, wasn't it? With who was it got sent off?
Just trying to remember who got sent off now at the end of the day. But it was out of frustration. Mind you, they couldn't send off Donald Trump, could they? Infantino. It was so funny. No one had told Trump in the script, right?
Yeah. No, he knew what he was doing. He just wanted to be in the pick. He wanted to be around winners.
Donald, mate, you're not in the team. No, I'm not leaving. And Infantino had to come and
best cup lift of all time. Best cup lift ever.
Spurs for life. All you keep saying is too much waffling, mate. If you don't like the channel, that's your prerogative. Right.
No, I think he's not a fan of me. I don't think that's fine. I don't care. It's all good, mate. All good.
Yeah, it's all good, mate. Don't worry about it.
You haven't got to be if you don't want to be. 522 of you are, though. So please do us a favours, guys. We're trying to grow the channel. Best way for you to do that is to smash the like button if you do enjoy it. And please do hit the subscribe. If you are watching and you're not subscribed and you want to participate in the chat, then all you've got to do is hit the subscribe and you get Instant access. The choo-choo train has begun. Let's find out where we're stopping off. We're going up to Northern Ireland, not far from Belfast. I think my man Blaine Dev, he's up there saying, "Come and pick me up." Can you do it? Can you say "come and pick me up" in a Northern Irish accent there, Johnny?
To be sure, I can.
Nah, that's a public of mine. Be careful.
Oh,
no, brain Kai. Come pick me up.
God's sake.
We got to work on that. Johnny's dropped off the screen. Johnny's gone. I'm back on by myself. Thank you, Blaine. Good to see you. Straffen Joe has also. I think we're in Kildare for Straffen.
County Kildare. Where's the train noise, Sean?
Oh, sorry. People think we're getting annoying. There you go,
mate.
And of course we can't start a super train without a super train chat without going to Clapham Junction.
Clapham Junction.
Good Daniel Fields in the house. Good to see you, mate. Thank you very much indeed, guys. If you do want to jump on board the Super Stickers Rate, all money does go towards a fantastic pot. It's a side fund that is going to get we're going to get a dancing ring girl or something in the background here. So she'll keep me company. Johnny can just stay up in Nottingham Forest in incognito mode.
I can just watch. Right. Where are we next, Sean? Where are we next?
I think, mate, we might have to...
do you want me to go? Shall we go? Right. So I'm going to go. Everton have opened talks with one of our favourites who we'd like to see at Spurs, Mr. Douglas Luiz. They're still at an early stage, but the Premier Club would like to move fast and are very keen to beat the growing competition. I think Juventus are not going to have any trouble whatsoever getting rid of Douglas Luiz in the Premier League. It's just basically who's going to bid the highest, I think, for him. No?
Yeah, look, Douglas Luiz, I think, is it's an interesting one, isn't it, mate? It's it feels like he is a player that doesn't need to be shopped around, but that he's being shopped around by Juve. Juve have picked up the phone to everybody and said, anyone want a slice of Douglas Luiz? And thus far, only Everton, no disrespect to Evertonians if they're watching, but thus far, it feels like it's a strange one that a player... I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Also, for what it's worth, do Everton need a Douglas Luiz when they've already got... Oh, no, they lost him, didn't they? I was going to say that they lost their man to Aston Villa.
But they're going to get Idrissa Gueye is going to sign a 1-year contract extension, right? But I have Douglas Luiz. Look, guys, keep saying it. It's a squad-based game, okay? So Douglas Luiz will be absolutely perfect for his game. Let's be serious.
I've got to be honest though, but to me it reeks of, as Marshall was saying here, he's wasted or washed. I don't know. I don't follow enough Serie A. Maybe that's going to change this year.
He's had a bad season. Look, he had one bad season. If we're going by that, then Spurs shouldn't have signed Mohamed Kudus, because last season Mohamed Kudus had an absolute stinker, 3 assists and 5 goals in 32 games, which is poor, right?
Yeah.
You know, Sonny had a bad season. The season before, James Maddison had a bad season. So, you know, what we do know is he can play in the Premier League, and I can understand at £25 million, he's good value for what you're going to get. Yes, he could get injured, but so could a whole host of players. Spurs have got one they paid £50 million plus that's been injured since he's been there. So, and it happens to many clubs.
We got an Ornstein bomber has just dropped. Newcastle United are working on the deal to sign Hugo Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt. Not yet agreed or close to being done, but talks continue over a potential deal of around 75 million euros. Yeah, listen, mate. As far as Douglas Luiz goes, yeah, I still maintain I'd love to see him at Tottenham, but there's just a part of me that thinks, you know, the fact that he's like a guy of his quality is being like overtly offered around. I just don't know whether or not that maybe there's something else that's gone on there within.
Overtly offered, Sean. What it is that Juventus are desperate for money, right? They're trying to get rid of Vlahovic. They're happy to get rid of Douglas Luiz. They haven't got the money for Kolo Muani, right, which they'd like to do. There's lots of deals going on, and I missed the deal for Turkey because we got so wrapped up in other conversations. Jadon Sancho was approached by Fenerbahce. You know, when you get a builder and you ask him to do a job and he doesn't really want the job. So he quotes you the most ridiculous price in the hope that you won't even book him, right?
Yeah.
Well, Jadon Sancho said that. He said he wanted 12 million tax-free. And they came back and they said, all right, we'll pay it. Turkey have got money coming out their backside. And now he's gone back to Juventus and he said, look, although I'm going to get more money there, I'm willing to come and play for you at Juventus because I want to remain at a big club at this stage of my career. So they need to get rid of players, Sean. You know, they need to get rid of players. So I don't think it's specific to Douglas Luiz. But, you know, if they could have both, I mean, does that, if they buy Jadon Sancho, does that mean Colin Mawani's off?
No.
Not really.
Different sort of player. Sort of player.
Exactly.
Juve will be quite terrifying if they got Yildiz and Jadon Sancho and Kolo Muani. Interesting enough, we're talking about PSG there. They're the other side of that Kolo Muani deal. According to reports from L'Equipe, PSG's Luis Campos, best DOF in the game, remains in contact with Osimhen and Rafael Leao's camp. Wasn't Leao going to Spain at one point? Wasn't he going to Barcelona?
Yeah, after they looked after Nico Williams. He's not going to go there. There's not a chance. Listen, Barcelona can dance around for all these players. They haven't got the money. It's as simple as that. They'll go for loan deals. And Marcus Rashford, as I said weeks ago, will end up there with Hansi Flick. It's the best deal they can hope for. Victor Osimhen, I could see at PSG.
Same, very much so.
Yeah,
very much so. Under their new manager, actually, yeah, I could see him there. But I think that obviously
goal machine. He's a goal machine.
Yeah, just re-signed Bradley Barcola. That contract's done. He was never really going anywhere. It looks to me like. Is there space in the forward line at PSG for another monster player that will want to play?
Yeah,
they've got an incredible forward line. PSG.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but Sean, they need defenders. We know that PSG were looking at Zabani at Bournemouth, looking at making a bid for him around about 35-40 million for him. Look, I think they do need the players. I think he'll look to freshen it up. Their captain is getting on a bit. I'm not sure how many more years he's got in. I think they'll look to buy maybe a centre-back and maybe an out-and-out striker. Because they play with...
They're not going to let go of Donnarumma, are they?
No, but they play almost with a false nine. You know, they don't really have... I don't think having Victor Osimhen would be anything but a plus in that squad. You know? But, you know...
Player. 75 million though, mate. Do they have the wiggle room? PSG, I mean, they make a hell of a lot of money. They made a lot of money out of the Cup World Cup, so it might not be
for the
PSR and FFP, but seeing as we've mentioned it, we better do the segment.
It's all about the PSR. It's all about the FFP. It's all about the loopholes. It's all about the money.
Yeah. Well, Sean, comment here from Alpesh. Romero to PSG.
Who, Christian Romero?
Yeah. What do you think of that one? They need a centre-back.
They do need a centre-back, yeah, but there's no links. So the only links to Romero or Atletico or Real Madrid.
It out. We can make our own links.
Everybody else does.
Why not? I mean, let's be honest, for God's sake, right? They're all making it up. They make it up as they go along. That is me, James. That is me. It took me ages in this heat.
We hired out a studio and we've done about 25 different segments of the show. Most of the time it's Jonny that's involved in any of the acting. I'm the guy behind the camera. And and you can see Jonny's got rhythm. He can't pronounce certain players' names, but he can dance absolutely superbly well. Mate, there was a story out of Al Hilal regarding Granit Xhaka because AC Milan were interested in him. And so we have to talk about him for a minute. And allegedly, as such, we have to pop across to, we're going now.
We're off to Saudi Arabia for the next part of the show.
Mate, big news out of so Granit Xhaka has basically been on the minds of AC Milan for the last sort of 6 weeks, and they were looking at your boy Jashawi. They were looking at Granit Xhaka, and they were also looking at Samuel Ritchie from Torino. In the end, Ritchie has signed. Arden Jashwari hasn't signed yet, but is desperate to go, and he's doing his thing. Obviously, we remember that the Turkish guys at Fenerbahce cock-blocked them on the tarmac of Brussels Airport a couple of days ago for Archie Brown, the left back.
A cop block at the airport. Yeah, for those of you just tuning in and wonder what happened with this one, Brown was sat at the airport, and classic. 2 planes were sent, one from AC Milan and one from Fenerbahce. And he couldn't decide which one to get on until the phone rang. He got on the Turkish one. So you can only imagine what they've offered him.
Well, and not just that, mate, but remember that at the very same time, TBR and other journalists were saying that Yves Bissouma was being sought after by Fenerbahce as well, and apparently agents the top brass at Fenerbahce were on their own private jet to London to meet with Tottenham officials to get the job done for Yves Bissouma. Turned out Yves Bissouma didn't want to go to Tottenham, and so the plane might have been redirected to pick up Archie Brown, and consequently, having said all that, just need to make sure that we all remember that at times in football, doesn't matter whether the buying club are interested and the selling club are willing to let the player go. If the player wants to be a cock block on the progress of the current team, then you need 3 parties to participate, mate. And as a consequence, it's always worth remembering.
Just when you thought your squad was getting proper, that player won't leave. They call that cock blocker.
Yves Bissouma was last week's cop block, mate. It looks like there's cop blocking going on at AC Milan as well. Do we think that Granit Xhaka will end up at Al Hilal this summer? He's probably the right age, probably the right profile. He's not a bad player, is he, Granit Xhaka?
I think he's a good enough player that he could still be playing at the in a high league. Listen, he's gone from Arsenal to Bayer Leverkusen. I could see him at somewhere like Marseille or somewhere like that. Mind you, Højbjerg's there now, but I think he's got enough in him. I don't think he's going to go there with the World Cup coming up this summer. I think he needs to stay in Europe. For me, he got far too much abuse as an Arsenal player. I always thought he was an animal, the sort of player you want in your team. But no, I would be surprised if he went this year. Next year, I can understand. He'd be the right age. No World Cup coming up. I think that would be perfect. Bissouma, look, he's been offered the money, but he wants to stay in London, or in the Premier League. I can tell you, last night he was spotted at the Drake concert. My son was there, and he was in the VIP section.
Really?
Yeah. He was struggling to get in. I think he was dressed as both of them. I think he was dressed as Louis Vuitton. It was hard to tell. It was a lot of it.
Sorry. The name on the ticket says Yves Bissouma, but the name on the body says Louis Vuitton about 1,000 times.
Yeah, LV.
Mate, interesting story. Your boy Amari Hutchinson has been identified as Brian Mbeumo's replacement for Brentford. The Mbeumo story drags on and on and on. What's your thoughts there?
Listen, look, I wanted us Spurs to have a look at him from Chelsea. 25 million, I thought was great business. Ipswich bought him, 25 million. I believe he's got a 35 million pound buyout clause. Low centre of gravity, brave, takes players on, a real handful, draws fouls, creates space, scores goals. I think in a better team, bearing in mind how poor Ipswich were, he was a real standout. I went up to Ipswich this season, well, in the home game and in the away game, and even the away game. You know, he's a danger. He's a danger. And I think 35 million in this day and age for a player of his age is not bad business at all. And let's be honest, if they sell Brian Mbeumo for 75 million or 70 million euros, I think this is a great replacement. I really do, yeah. I think that's great business. Whoever gets him, I think it's good business, to be honest. But I think it's perfect for Brentford. And the recruitment goes on.
What price he's going to go for?
I reckon, well, I think his buyout's 35 million.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Mate, really interesting story emerging in the multi-club ownership space. FC Utrecht and Red Bull have launched a strategic partnership focused on talent development. The academies of RB Leipzig and FC Utrecht will collaborate intensively by exchanging data and expertise. Now, just for what it's worth, I've got just the clubs owned by Red Bull already. So
I sent that to you, Sean. I sent that to you, didn't I? Have you got that? I was just looking for it now.
What's that? Sorry.
The list of clubs owned by Red Bull.
Got it here. So they got Red Bull Leipzig, Red Bull Salzburg, Red Bull Leipzig, New York Red Bulls, FC Liefering of Austria, Red Bull Bragantino, who play in the Brazilian league, and RB Omiya Ardilla, who play in Japan. And then they've also got Leeds United as like a minority ownership, and also Paris FC. Now they have, for what it's worth, they also shut down. There's a couple of defunct clubs that obviously didn't work out for them. RB Brazil and Red Bull Ghana. These clubs obviously have since been closed down. But it's interesting, mate, that they would set up a strategic deal with Utrecht in a club in a league that they don't currently have an ownership. Do you think this would be the first? For what it's worth, like again, like for me, I always point to Red Bull clubs as the reason why this notion that that Chinese walls existing between ownership structures do not in any way, shape, or form mean that there's no interlinks between the two clubs. I remember you saw it with, for example, the story I broke to you. I said to you guys earlier about John Textor taking 90 million quid and giving it to Botafogo, which I think is outrageous, but it's outside of the jurisdiction, so it doesn't matter. But in the case of Red Bull Leipzig and Red Bull Salzburg, there are no two clubs in the last 30 years that have had in Europe that have had a higher frequency of transactions between the two clubs than Salzburg and Leipzig. So to sit there and make out like they're independent entities and that there's no overlap, it's a disgrace. It's a joke. And the fact that Salzburg and Leipzig can both participate in Europe in whichever tournament they both qualify for because they have apparent Chinese walls. The whole thing is a disgrace. But back to the... do you think Utrecht will be the... Sorry, mate, go on.
I was just going to say, meanwhile, Lyon and Crystal Palace have had absolutely zero deals between the two clubs, right? Yeah. Zero. And yet they're being hung out. Look, you can see... I'd like to see it stopped. I would. You know, they got enough clubs. They own enough clubs, right? How many more do you want? You know, you add up all the players.
I think Manchester City have got 14, haven't they?
I don't know, but listen, all I know is it's got to stop at some point. All right, add up all the players they've probably got between all of those clubs, all the exchange of players going on. Chelsea, who bought a player for 12 million, is going out to Salzburg. I think it's Salzburg. They bought it for 12 million. I don't know what the deal is. It's sort of non-disclosed deal. He'll probably come back or get sold and come back through through the system at some point. It's becoming a farce. And, you know, even fans who aren't really up on this stuff are beginning to see through it all, Sean, and have enough of it. Man City and Girona was allowed to play the Champions League together. Quite. And Salvino switched between the two clubs. That's right, Adam. That's exactly right. But it doesn't seem like anyone's doing anything about it. But all of a sudden, UEFA got on their high horse and decided, right, we're going to come down on Crystal Palace. Makes no sense.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely insane.
Lamine Yamal of Barcelona is going to be the highest paid player of Barcelona's book. They should announce contracts on Wednesday. I don't know if they're going to have this big parade or a big announcement. What do you think his buyout clause will be, Sean?
Oh, billion euros probably. Cheers, Daniel. Appreciate you, mate. See you soon, bud. Thanks very much, buddy.
Thank you, Daniel.
Love you, man. Yeah, I would imagine it's
something ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it'd be something insane. Absolutely something insane. Did you see the story though this morning that apparently at Lamine Yamal's 18th birthday party, he had some whatever you want to call it, some people with dwarfism, some dwarfs essentially, and apparently like groups that are after disability, pro-disability groups, of people with with heightism or whatever you want to call it in Spain, have sent in a series of complaints to the guy because he must have hired dwarfs for the dwarf chucking thing that you can do. You can hire those people, right?
Honestly,
hilarious, isn't it?
I think he's been watching too much of Wolf of Wall Street.
100%.
A helmet and a bit of Velcro, trying to throw them at the. Listen, hopefully he's got so much talent he can keep himself on the straight and narrow, because the world is his oyster. There's another one. Victor Boniface is in talks with AC Milan over a potential permanent move.
Wow.
The Nigerian striker is open to joining the Rossoneri, and Bayer Leverkusen are open to a summer departure. It seems like Bayer Leverkusen are selling anyone and everyone, except the one player that I'd like to see at Spurs, and that's Nkape.
Oh, there's another player there I would like to see at Tottenham. That's Palacios. I think he's absolutely insane. It's such a great midfielder. But yeah, Nkape's good as well, but a really good player. But yeah, for me, Leverkusen seem like I can't imagine Leverkusen are going to be competing at the top end next season. They're probably going through their own rebuild, need to get their financial sense in order and go again. But Connor's in the house. Good to see Connor. He's saying Podent's coming back out to play.
Yeah, he's only about 5'2", wasn't he?
Yeah.
I actually thought the first time I saw Podence come out for Wolves, I actually thought he was the ball boy, and I said, "Oh, look at that little kid! It's a joke. He's lining up. They got him lining up, right? The team, they go, you idiot." That's Podence. The kid
was taller than him.
Yeah, the kid was. If you're in the back,
rather than putting his hands on his shoulders down here, he's doing this, trying to get his face in. Let me get myself in there.
Hey, he's holding on.
Yeah. The player that's sort of similar size to him is Malik Fofana over at Lyon as well. He hasn't left yet. He's another player that might leave this summer.
Well, I think there's a few that might have to go. Guys, if you're in the chat and you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. Helps our algorithm, helps us grow. And if you're here for the first time, guys, please hit the subscribe button as we march now towards 4,000 subscribers, which is quite incredible for the first 2 months of us giving up. We gave Brian Gill. Yeah, Brian Gill. How tall do you think he is?
5'5", 5'6". Have you seen this story? Nicolo Zaniolo has been fined €15,000 for assaulting 2 AS Roma youth players. What the hell?
Oh, my God.
As a reminder, the Italian club had accused Zaniolo of illegally entering the locker room after a youth match against Fiorentina in May. He allegedly urinated in the locker room and subsequently provoked and struck Mattia Almaviva and violently pushed Marco Litti against the bench. The hell?
I don't understand. Well, exactly. Adam Phillips said he didn't clean his boots properly. Justified beating, obviously, because he had a bit of mud on his shoes. Can you imagine what it was like in the boot room during the 70s?
He was at Aston Villa, wasn't he?
Yeah, imagine what it was like in the 70s. Guys, I don't know what your light games is shocking tonight. Maybe we're off form today, Sean. Maybe we're off form a bit. But it's the Daniel Levy light game today, early sort of 2019 to 2024 Daniel Levy light game. 156 lights. We had over 500-600 people in here. Terrible. I could agree to play.
Smash the granny.
Smash the granny.
That's all we ask. That's all we ask.
There, Sean. I don't think there's a lot out today.
No, it's a pretty dry day. Besiktas have terminated. We go back to Turkey. Besiktas have terminated Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's contract. He's done out here. Liverpool have been very clear with Real Madrid that they won't accept anything less than £45 million for Ibrahim Konate. I think they want to convince him to renew his contract. This is the thing, mate. When you let someone get down to 1 year left, suddenly you can let super talents go for relatively no money.
I think a lot of people seem to have forgotten one signing that Liverpool made is Georgi Mamardashvili. £29 million.
Yeah, is he going to break through this year?
I think he will. I mean, he spent the rest of the season at Valencia, didn't he? But that's why they got rid of their keeper to Brentford. But I mean, imagine having that Alisson and Mamardashvili. What a pairing that is in goal. I think that's going to be a good competition for places. I'm not surprised Oxlade-Chamberlain had his contract terminated, Sean. I mean,
yeah.
I didn't even know he was still playing. That's how much of a
James McAtee currently in Frankfurt to visit Eintracht. So is James McAtee. So they know that they're going to be losing. Not that McAtee's a direct replacement for Ekitike, but it's not like he's sort of not dissimilar.
No, he's nowhere near the same player, Sean. You can't.
I'm not saying he's not the same player, but I'm saying in terms of Frankfurt are making a move to bring him in. And then the last story for you, mate, is Johan Bakayoko has made his decision. He wants to join RB Leipzig. Leverkusen were interested, but the Belgian forward has given his preference to Leipzig. That means Forrester in the mud. And it means maybe one or two other. I think Brentford might have been looking at him as well. So he's decided he wants to go to Germany next after Holland. Good player, mate. Really good player, Johan Bakayoko.
Yeah. We weren't sure whether he was going to go to the Premier League or go somewhere else in Europe. Whoever gets him, he's a bit stop-start this season. Maybe not as impressive as last season. But still a good player. I think, right now, with only a week to go till some of the pre-season games start, I think, I think we should see a lot more deals getting done this week. I really do. I mean, some clubs are already playing. Liverpool had their first game and marked it with a tribute to Jota, which was fantastic. Just quickly going back to Newcastle, about Newcastle being prudent. You look at some of the players: Harvey Barnes, 39 million; Bruno Gomes, 40 million; Joel Linton, 40 million; Anthony Gordon, 45 million; Tonali, 55 million; Alanga, 55 million; Isak, 63 million. And this one could be in the region of... they value him at 85 million, Frankfurt, and they've offered, what was it? Did you say 70?
Yeah, 75.
75, and they want 86.
Yeah, they'll get it done for about 78, I'd imagine. Not too far away, 78, 80, something like that. Mate, I think we're pretty much done with the stories, guys, for the rest of the day. So we should probably leave it there, John. If you got any other ones to?
No, sure. It's a quiet day, guys. It has.
Oh, he's gone again. Never a day that goes by without Johnny dropping out. I have to get a little segment where the Johnny drops out. I have to get the Johnny drops out segment out of the show. Guys, if you are... He does it all the time, every show. He's back in. He's back in. He's back in. There he is. And the Johnny drops out segment of the show.
We need the Johnny dropout. I don't know what is going on with the dropout. We need to have a dropout section, Sean.
100%.
Yes, I was about to say, guys. Yeah, sorry, it's been a bit quiet today. We didn't want to let you down, not have a show, but there really wasn't a lot cooking today. And thankfully, the Ekitike to Newcastle deal is about the biggest one out there. Obviously, Arsenal. Let's hit it. Come on, let's do it. It looks like Arsenal are going to get Gyokeres. Looks like it's done and dusted. It looks like Mascara. Looks like that's going to be done.
That was here we go. Mascara's here we go today. Yeah.
Here we go. And they're going to do Noni. Let's see whether they're going to go for Eze. How much have Arsenal spent right now? Because they are going to be a force. As much as it pains me to say it, Arsenal are going all guns blazing. They are. Norgard.
Yeah. Well, but I actually think that if I'm entirely honest, the biggest transfer of the summer was Florian Wirtz to Liverpool. Probably the most the highest value in terms of like value for money. If Sporting are only walking away with like 35 million quid out of that deal, which is what it looks like, that Arsenal have essentially got 42 million plus about 10 million in add-ons. That's incredible value, mate, for a guy. We shall see how he gets on in the Premier League, but you and I are on the same page in that we don't think that there's any doubt in our opinions. Like the unknown, yeah, it's a thing. His age is obviously a factor, but in terms of the price point versus the his current track record, it's insane, absolutely insane. But look, we'll come back tomorrow and we'll talk about whatever happens over the next 24 hours. Sorry,
just to ask very quickly, does that make Arsenal the biggest spenders currently, or is it Chelsea?
No,
net spenders, it might be Arsenal.
No, Liverpool has spent about 220 million.
Yeah, it's close between Arsenal and Chelsea is spent, but don't forget they're recouping.
Yeah,
they're recouping quite a lot already.
I still think Liverpool are top though.
Yeah, I think he'll be close to Arsenal. Zubimendi 50 million.
Tottenham are at 160 million.
Yeah, but Arsenal are steaming past us, mate. And if they buy Eze as well, they're definitely in the lead with a spend. They did say there were rumours from Arteta or around Arteta that Arsenal were prepared to spend up to 300 million in the transfer window this year. And I just laughed. But it doesn't look like they're going to be far off it. As I said, 210 million as it stands, with the possibility of maybe Eze coming in on top for another 60. We shall see, guys. Hit the like button on your way out, guys. And thanks for coming in and joining us today.
Please do check out the audio, the links in the description, guys. Podcasts available, Spotify and Apple Pods. We're trying to grow that stuff as well. So if you do enjoy us here and you are someone that frequents those things, please do take the time to get over there and check out the just follow us and give us a 5-star rating. Really appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully with a couple more segments like Terry's Chocolate Orange. But until then, we will see you later. Thank you very much for all of the super chats. Daniel Field, Straffen Joe, Blaine, Flex with a new member, Blaine again. Love you guys. Thanks ever so much, guys. And we're going to send you over to Football Heritage, to Sav's show. He's carrying on. Please smash Football Inc. raid into the chat. And Johnny, it is goodbye from me, buddy.
It's goodbye from him.
See you guys. Take care.
Nice to see you, Nathan.
Ciao.
Ciao.